Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have me a soda and we're going to talk about how long you should keep a SIM card. One of my problems in life is I have things that are too dang old. Among those things that are too dang old is actually this soda, which I found while cleaning, and it should have been consumed in July of 2022, specifically on the 4th of July of 2022. It's a patriotic soda. It is a Mountain Dew Spark Raspberry Lemonade. Yes. And, of course, there is a gnat in there. Gnats. Anyway. I'm going to drink that anyway. I don't care anymore. I've gotten so past the point where I care. Before I go any further, of course, let me remind you that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from the company 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you would be so kind to comment, like, and subscribe, you'd be doing your part for a better world. Now, I use SD cards. I've shown them in my videos before. This one is from 2008. It is a SanDisk Ultra, and it is past its life expectancy. These are two SanDisk Extremes. They're 64 gigabytes. I don't actually know the age on them because I forgot to write it down. And in this camera, I have another SanDisk Ultra. This one is a 64 gigabyte. And I purchased this one this or last year. Okay. Is that another gnat? It is. There's a gnat in the ice cube. This is getting gross. It's a good thing I have a towel in here. Wow. Anyway. I washed my hands before coming in here, don't worry. I always wash my hands before these videos because you don't want something weird on your hands when you're pouring drinks. But obviously, you know, this is too old. And one of the things about SD cards is every time you pull them in and out of the camera or in and out of the reader, you break down their connections slightly. Now, the ideal methodology is that you use them once, and there are SD cards that are designed only to be used once. And if I were a professional YouTuber, I would probably be running somewhere in that category because, you know, my time would be more valuable, right? If you say that, you know, my time is worth, say, $25 an hour, the amount of work on these cards would easily be, you know, worth more than $100 because more than 4 hours of footage would be on these cards. However, you have to understand the basic fact that my time on YouTube is essentially free. You know, I don't make money at this. If I don't make a video, who cares? You know, if I were making money at this, the money would have to be pretty significant for these cards to have any value. So it really doesn't make a lot of difference how long I keep my SD cards. However, there are occasions, for example, I consume this soda. This soda has a value. In these videos, I always try to consume some kind of a drink. I feel it enhances the video, and I'm trying to use up the drinks. Now, it's happened multiple times that I've lost a video, and that's because my computers are kind of old, and I'm working with a lot of videos here. So I'm not terribly concerned with that, but there was a review I did where what I purchased for the review was worth about $20 on my other channel. So if I want to look at it in terms of how much it might cost me if one of these cards fails, it could easily cost me $20. You know, I probably, if you counted every consumable I used that was on that card, it would be closer to 30 or maybe even 40. It depends on what I'm filming. But the bottom line fact is that I can't keep these cards forever. At some point they will fail, and I should really set a date for that. And I went and I looked up on the internet. Most SD cards are good for 10 years. They should not be questionable after 10 years. 5 years is another date for your generic SD card, and any SD card that's worth using will have a life expectancy of about 3 years, okay? If you are using SD cards to store data, which I'm not, 10 years is perfectly fine. You use them, you fill them up, you store them, keep them away from heat, and they'll be okay. With my particular case, I'm pulling them in and out of the camera, and I have just decided that I am going to make this a 5-year thing. At 5 years, these units are too old. Where does this leave me? Well, I have no dates on these cards. I could look up when I got these. If it's more than 5 years ago, well, I don't really need to worry because they probably will be good for 10 years. Particularly if I don't use them that much. So, I'm going to mark the one that is currently in the camera for this year. Alright? That means this one is 2023. Okay, so now I have marked 2023, 2022, 2021. That will mean that when I pull the card out of that camera, I will mark it 2024, and next year I will buy one more card. I will have 2025. Now, after that, this card number 5 goes in the garbage. It goes into the recycling bin to be reused because it's now too old. Now this, back in 2008, I was buying 23 gigabyte cards. I bought 23 gigabyte cards because I didn't film as much as I used to. It is entirely possible for me to fill up a 64 gigabyte card in one day. And yeah, pulling the card in and out of the camera does break down the camera. Alright? I would even make the statement that what I should probably do is put the newest card in whichever camera I use the least, and always use the oldest card if available, because that one is going to be replaced the soonest, and you're not going to need it anymore. Okay, that's one way of looking at things. If you're always using the newest card, yes, that's the most reliable, but a card should be 100% reliable after 5 years. So, it really depends on how you use them. If these things are getting popped in and out of the camera twice a day, yeah, 3 years would probably be a better time frame. But just as a basic point, these things cycle out. And you don't want, it's like an airplane. You know, an airplane, when it's reached the end of its life expectancy, they don't keep flying it. Well, they do. They sell it to a third world country, and they keep flying it because the parts are no longer reliable and the plane might fall out of the sky. That's just how that works. So with this, it's important to set a date. Okay? It's not like the camera itself, which, okay, you know, it's going to suck if the camera stops working. But a new camera is $1,000. So if the camera stopped working, I'm not going to lose $1,000 worth of data. Not losing $1,000 worth of data means that I don't really have to worry about that, do I? So I can keep using the camera until it breaks. But this card here is worth about $10. It'll only go down in price as bigger cards become available. This card is worth $5. Well, it was new. It probably, anybody seeing that it's from 2008 will look at that card and be like, no, I don't want that. But a new one is $5. So, yeah, I mean, if I were making money off what I was doing, I would probably get to the point where I'd replace cards fairly often. Maybe even replace one every month, because you don't want them to fail. Or the best thing to do would be fill up a card, pull it out of the camera, use the files that are on it, put the card into storage. You can never lose files that way because you always have a backup. Well, that's not how the world works. So that's not what I'm doing. But for the moment, I'm going to replace these cards every 5 years. Anyway, thank you for sharing this moment with me. I'm Richard.
Oogog, Ergonog. Daniel Ducky say YouTube gods need long outro so I can tell you comment, like, and subscribe so that this channel can pull trash out of ocean by buying matrices from For Ocean. Also, links to new video now appear. Comment, like, and subscribe, or be cursed by Ugatha. Daniel Ducky approves.